Now I'm sure you want to learn more about the Biomnitrix, and I can't blame you. This watch was used by the closest thing that we have to a prime Ben 10,000. Now this watch is a dual wielding Omnitrix system, of course level 20 technology, which is the highest in the universe. It has a huge gimmick that gives the user the ability to create fusions. Now it can of course be used to create singular transformations per DNA sample, just like the regular watch. But where's the fun in that? And the way we actually get to use the Biomnitrix is putting both of the Omnitrixes together in an X formation, and that will create a fusion transformation, assumedly by selecting a singular DNA sample on each gauntlet. With the fact that he has master control, I would assume that he does that in his head. First time we actually saw this Omnitrix though was in the episode Ben Again, which is the episode where Ben's mind actually gets switched with that of his younger self. However, it wasn't used in that episode. First ever canonical usage of this watch was in the episode And Then There Were None, all the way in season 5. Mind you, Ben Again was in like season 3, so it was quite a distance. It's a whole thing with Omniverse airing episodes way out of order, and as a kid, that was some batshit crazy moves by a certain black and white network. Either way, his first fusion was for Mongosaur, and holy moly, that guy was a brawler, storming evil Bens like Soldier Boy,
killing Germans by the dozen.
Of course, the roster isn't capped there, as we've seen aliens like Big Chuck, Crash Shocker for Mongosaur, Humongoopsaur, Uprig, and Atomic X. We can see that Ben has some favorite DNA sample to use as a fusion. But what can I say? Humongosaur is definitely plus 9,000 aura. Ben does have quite a few more fusion transformations though, but there are only two of them that we actually got full-fledged designs for. Those are XLRG, the fusion between the Echinoceleran Speedster and the Walking Radiation Tank, and also Gravodactyl, a fusion between the reptile with energy mastery and the gravity control sphere. These kinds of broken fusions kinda makes me want a Ben 10K series. However, how did this watch ever come into being in the first place? In universe, it was actually made by Ben 10,000, as he had that whole enlightenment period in his latter life. That's what caused him to build the Biomnitrix, ditching the completed Omnitrix, and granted him this new power of fusion. But from the writer's perspective, it all started as a story between two bros, Derek J. Wyatt and Tom Perkins. If you don't know either of these guys, Derek J. Wyatt is the art director of Ben 10 Omniverse, and he was huge on Teen Titans and Transformers. And Tom Perkins was a huge character designer in the earlier days of Ben 10 Classic, and he ended up making the entirety of the Fusion Lab. Hopefully you can see where we're getting at here. So these guys are two OGs in the Ben 10 scene, and also bros. So Derek had an idea to get his bro back into the Ben 10 game, and his way to do that was none other than incorporating the Fusion Master into Omniverse. Hence, the Biomnitrix was born. But for a second, let's rewind. I definitely think that the Biomnitrix and Ben 10K would make for a very good series. So let's recap the Biomnitrix's moments and see how it's used in combat, along with an episode that gives us a clear glimpse of the Ben 10,000 series that could have been. So we start out by seeing the OG in the episode Ben Again. Pretty standard foreshadowing Easter egg business. However, when No Watch Ben gets cornered like Jerry after Tom got his Alley Cat friends together, Paradox swoops in to save the day and brings in the literal All Might of the Ben 10 universe for a battle. Now it blows the other Bens away with a shockwave so strong I'd say a broken spine would be the least of their worries. And just to skip forward a bit, but Ben 10K comes in clutch once more as he busts through a wall to come to No Watch Ben's rescue again, discarding the Kellogg's Pussycat in his Mad Max cosplay. He then gets jumped by the Benzaro mummy, but this guy seriously does not know what he's in for, and the way how he grabs this oversized roll of toilet paper definitely looks like he's about to rip this guy in two. But this is kid-friendly television, so we end up cutting to the Chronosapien time bomb being set off, and it sends every Ben scrambling like an ant colony. But they don't know that Ben 10,000 is him, and he goes for the most broken transformation known to man, Atomic X, a combination of Atomics and Alien X, and he pulls up to give the KO punch to the literal anti-life equation. Must be packing some serious heat to be in that kind of a mindset. 10 million aura punch incoming. However, his aura points do not stand a chance against literal eradication, and they get deducted and he gets evaporated. But he later gets reconstructed in part 2 of the No Watch saga. Now, further down in the show, Ben 10K pops in and saves Ben, but we're not here to hear about this guy. We want to see the watch in action. So he locks in on Exo Skull and goes for a deadly fusion, which is Crash Shocker. And just like the classic Ben 10K, he bodies the Robo Rhino like he's a low-level criminal in Gotham. He then proceeds to turn into Up freaking Rig and turns this shattered 10 speed into a brand spanking new time cycle. Holy shit. Now let's flip forward some more. Flip backward? They go backward in time to where the Time Beast is officially being made by Eon when the OG late model Ben Tennyson goes for a way big and upchuck fusion. Jesus Christ, this guy is packing. He gobbles up Eon's lightsaber and then drops green plasma barf on his ass. He ends up getting jumped by Eon's goons, but come on man, he's Big Chuck. And he just throws them off and gobbles down one of them live and whole.
Pause.
And uses him as a projectile. Damn, that got dark real quick. Ben, you are morbid. The same thing happens again, but trust me, this guy is brutal. And he has no problem eating these soldiers like they're frosted flakes. Once we return to our own timeline, we get to the episode End of an Era, where we get another taste of what it would actually be like to have a Ben 10,000 solo show. Ben chases down a rogue gorilla Animo as Goop Dino along with his wife Kai, but Animo gets caught by Spanner in literally like 1.2 seconds. We then skip all of the yapping and we go straight to Grandpa Max's retirement party. However, a solar flare interrupts them in the space station, knocking out the power of everything including the Biomnitrix. Ben, you need to patch that shit. Evacuating the space station becomes the primary objective now. But Maltruant, Exoskull, and Subdora, damn, she kinda bad though. Anyways, this trio seeks to take advantage of that. The objective now changes from celebration to surviving this attack. And Tennyson numero uno is put into a bind, where he has to fight a living metal clock with his bare hands. Ben, Gwen, and Kai get moonwalked on by Maltruant, while Ben literally floats off into the stratosphere. The watch's power finally times in, and Ben literally goes for the most broken thing possible in order to take down Maltruant. He gets dealt with pretty easily since Maltruant is packing King Crimson in a clock body. Quick info dump, King Crimson is actually a stand from part 5 of JoJo's. It has the ability to skip over moments in time, pretty much just like what Maltruant does in this episode of End of an Era. It's actually a really amazing and incredible parallel, hence why Maltruant is actually able to take on a literal juggernaut like Atomic X, because it actually doesn't make sense with the fact that Atomic X should have access to the Soto Bro effect and he should be able to tell once Maltruant is time skipping, but he's doing it to such a high level of efficiency. It's actually probably undetectable, along with the fact that it's a diluted Celestial Sapien DNA sample with the fact that it's a fusion, so he probably doesn't even have full access to the Soto Bro effect. Soto Bro effect is the ability to sense change in time. Clockwork can do it, Alien X can do it, etc. Enough yapping. And then he gets timed out. And that's pretty much the last time we actually got to see the Biomnitrix in use. This watch is probably the most overpowered thing in the canon Ben 10 multiverse. However, if you want to learn more about the fan-made multiverse lore, click here.